Walker Jacobs. We are very happy to welcome you to the DMEXCO TV studio. Hello in Cologne.
Thank you.
We are very happy to. Hey, we are very happy to have you here. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing?
Sure. Well, personally, my name's Walker Jacobs. My title is Chief Revenue Officer with Twitch, and we have a wonderful team and presence here. Our German team is leading Twitch's presence here at TwitchCon. We have a booth in Hall 9, and it's been great so far to be here.
Nice, that's great. Could you tell us a little bit more about Twitch? What Twitch is about?
Sure. Twitch is a live video streaming platform that really formed out of the video game industry, and streamers streaming themselves playing video games and building communities to follow them. And the combination of it being live and it being a community-based platform and creating almost a new type of media that's two-way broadcasting, where a broadcaster is able to speak to the audience and have the audience provide feedback, creates a very interesting and new kind of dynamic. And over the years of us growing this, we're expanding well beyond video gaming and a full complement of broadcast content.
Okay, so it's all about gamers. Also, your speech is titled, "Listen, marketeers, gamers are not a niche audience anymore." So could you tell us a little bit why gamers are an attractive customer group?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with the audience, to me, and especially looking at young people and young people's media habits. They've changed so significantly over the last 10 years, and young audiences have migrated off of television in large numbers, and they're finding new video on the internet, and they're finding content and services elsewhere, and they're spending more and more time off of the internet and off of television altogether playing video games. And Twitch really represents an intersection of an effective way for marketers to reach that audience.
Okay, so what makes gamers special?
Well, they are very much a special bunch.
Okay.
And to me, it probably starts with their passion.
Okay.
They love gaming so much, they're dedicated to it, and they spend so much time playing video games. We hear it repeatedly from the game publishers themselves and what they're seeing on their platform. And it's very much, we see it come to life on Twitch. The average user session on our site is 90 minutes. So the engagement levels are really quite high. And the sort of combination of that engagement and the fact that it's a community is really the sort of center of the benefit of working with Twitch.
So what's the key of your community? What's so special about it?
Well, I almost think of Twitch as a community of communities.
Okay.
It's each streamer is building their own community.
Okay.
And they vary. And to me, one of my favorite things to do is spend time in the smaller communities and spend time with the smaller streamers. It's a much more intimate type of communication. It's a much more intimate type of interaction. And then when you go spend time in the much larger communities, that's a different kind of dynamic, which is equally exciting. And one of the things we see is people spend time on Twitch for different reasons. Some of the gamers come because they want to watch the best players in the world and they want to get better at their game. It's very similar to a teenager watching football or watching basketball on television because they want to improve their skills.
Okay.
But then we also have a group of super fans that want to come on Twitch and want to be active and want to participate. And so there's different reasons to be on Twitch, and we see it manifest itself in different ways.
Okay, so you have those streamers on one hand. Was it, in the beginning, when you look back, was it harder to get a relevant set of streamers, or was it harder to build a community around it? Or did the streamers build the communities independently?
So our CEO and founder and a lot of the team that was at Twitch in the very early days still operate under the mantra of streamers first. And we develop our tools, we develop our platforms to make sure that we're serving the ecosystem. And really what advertising is meant to be is a fuel for the economy so that streamers can continue to earn a living and do well on Twitch.
Okay, so your position is named Chief Revenue Officer, which is very rare in Germany at least.
Yeah, okay.
Could you share with us some insight about your mission, what your job is about at Twitch?
Yeah, Chief Revenue Officer is kind of a designer title these days. We've seen it kind of, a lot of companies adopt the title. in the last 5 or 10 years in the United States especially. I think it's a fancy way of saying head of sales, and that's really primarily what my job is. But I do have an opportunity sitting on the executive team of Twitch to get involved in much broader things in sales in terms of the type of things that make it easier for my team to do their job, in terms of the type of content we're acquiring, the type of tools we're developing, and sort of our overall corporate strategy.
So assuming Twitch is free, what are your main revenue streams? Advertising most probably?
So there are primarily 3 revenue streams. One is sponsorship and advertising. One is our subscription model, which streamers on our service are able to sell subscriptions to their communities, and that's a secondary revenue stream. And the third is a bits and cheering. It's the easiest way to describe it is almost like a patronage model or a tipping model, where if a community are watching a streamer and they love what they're doing and they're so excited and they're feeling generous, they are able to offer bits as a reward, which is a virtual currency that has real value.
Okay, so do a lot of your streamers produce content for both Twitch and YouTube, or they use it simultaneously, or what's the trend you're seeing there?
Yeah, so the hallmark of Twitch, and really what makes us different than anyone else, is we exclusively rely on live. And everything that's happening on Twitch is live. And the small percentage of content on Twitch that isn't happening live is yesterday's broadcast for a channel that isn't live at that moment, so that when a consumer lands there, there's something for them to watch. That means a lot of streamers on Twitch are clipping their broadcasts on Twitch and finding sort of highlights from their broadcasts, and they're putting that on their YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's fantastic. For them to have a secondary revenue stream, for them to be able to leverage YouTube that way is a good thing for our streamers, so we think it's a good thing for us. The vast majority of streamers that are broadcasting live on Twitch are doing so exclusively on Twitch.
Okay, and since Twitch has a clear audience group with the gamers, we were talking earlier today a lot about the DMEXCO theme trust, and also what comes with trust, such as authenticity and being true to your product. How does Twitch deliver on that value?
I'm sorry, how do we deliver
on trust and authenticity?
Yeah, so for us, it starts with making sure that our expectations are very clear with streamers about what's allowed. Before streamers are able to participate in all of the Twitch economy, they sign terms of service with Twitch, which are extremely clear around appropriate conduct, and that they're clearly labeling who their audience is meant for. Number 2, we have moderation tools. So the moderation tools include our ability to moderate chat. So not just what the streamer's broadcasting, which we primarily handle through our terms of service and through an escalation policy.
Okay.
But to make sure that the community is also behaving appropriately, we have auto moderation, which is an AI solution that moderates chat and is able to filter it out and make sure that it's appropriate. And then we also have, because it's community driven, we have volunteer human moderators in any community of any size that's able to report and turn off any toxic content that they're finding. So I think we found a really nice complement of solutions that have really helped us get in front of that.
Okay, so you just mentioned chatting. So there's also a lot of interaction between the community members, not only between the community and the streamer?
Yes, there can be. It sort of depends on how the streamer has their channel set up and how they have their community set up. Particularly the smaller communities, they tend to know each other. They tend to be friends with each other. They tend to have found each other on Twitch. And there's an amazing dynamic that happens with chat, especially in the smaller communities.
Do you consult your streamers how to best set up their community, or they do it all by themselves?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Do you consult your streamers how to set up the best community possible, or they are independent?
We do. We have we have an entire partnerships team that's sole job is to advise, consult, provide tooling. So best practices, what's worked for other streamers, so that their success is our success. We view this as an inextricable partnership. We go everything that we're developing is to help them be successful, and that's how we operate.
Okay, so the streamer is also becoming more successful, most probably by utilizing Twitch.
Yeah, we certainly hope so, yes.
Okay, great. So generally speaking, Twitch is a digital company, but we see a lot of companies also that are traditional and are trying to digitalize and do the digital transformation. What is from your point of view, why do so many companies fail with the digital transformation? Or in other words, what are traditional companies doing well that are successful in going digital?
Well, as you can probably imagine, we speak to a lot of traditional media companies that program on Twitch, want to bring channels on Twitch, and generally speaking, it's one of two schools. The first school, which is unsuccessful, is the school of thought of Twitch can be distribution for our programming. We've created a show, we've created a program, we want to run it on Snap, we want to run it on YouTube, and we think that Twitter, we think that Twitch can provide access to a new audience, we'd like to distribute it. If the programmer doesn't understand the interactivity piece of Twitch and the community piece of Twitch, and the fact that audiences are durable because they're built over time with consistent programming, and that the community aspect of it's embraced, and the interactive part of it's embraced, the product's doomed for failure. However, the second school are broadcasters that are interested in programming to Twitch, and they want to build something that's live, that's interactive, that's community-based, that is content and talent that's appropriate for a Twitch audience. And when we see that, generally they have great success. Okay. It's just more difficult, and that program doesn't necessarily translate to these other services either. So what I tell my friends in traditional media is really understand and invest in Twitch before you make a big investment, so that you can make sure you're set up for success.
So, and then taking that on a more general level, it's more about understanding the customer, understanding your audience in order to be successful.
That's right. And I think that companies that are starting with money and sort of the consumer value proposition is last probably won't do well in our environment.
Yeah, I fully agree. Walker, thank you so much for sharing all those insights. Enjoy the DMEXCO and have a safe flight back to New York.
Thank you very much for having me.